สวัสดีค่ะ Welcome to Hot Thai Kitchen. So last week I showed you how to make homemade Thai style chicken stock, and today it is the perfect recipe to use that chicken stock for. So I'm making chicken noodle soup Thai style, and when I say Thai style, I mean this is the stuff that you can find sold by street vendors all over Thailand, and it's actually one of the simplest noodle soups to make. When we make noodle soups at home, chances are it's this one. In Thai, this is called ก๋วยเตี๋ยวไก่ฉีก ก๋วยเตี๋ยว means noodles, ไก่ is chicken, and ฉีก means to pull. And yes, we are going to be pulling chicken for this, and as you'll see, this is sort of like very similar to pho, but with Thai flavors. Let's get started. So what I've got in this pot is my chicken stock that I just made, and I highly encourage you to not use store-bought for this because if you do, you're not going to get that flavor that is iconic of Thai noodle soups, okay? To this, I'm going to season it with some soy sauce and of course some fish sauce. And you know, I add soy sauce and fish sauce in combination because even though they're both salty agents, they have different flavors. Soy sauce is a little smoother, fish sauce is a little sharper, and together they really create something well balanced and a little more complex. Now to balance that salt, I am going to add some sugar. Now I'm just gonna bring this to a simmer. While that's going, let's talk about the chicken. So this is just boneless, skinless chicken breast that I have cut very strategically. So what I did is first I separated the tender, and then with what you've got left, you wanna look at where the fiber runs, okay? And then you wanna make a cut that divides that fiber in half. So then when you go to pull the chicken, you don't get long pieces of, chicken fiber, you get short bite-sized pieces, okay? And then I'm simply going to poach this in our stock. So the stock is just coming to a simmer now. I'm gonna add the chicken gently, don't splash yourself. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let the chicken poach at a very still simmer. Now, I know that sounds weird, but here's what I mean. Basically, you've got steam coming off the top the whole time, but it's not bubbling, okay? And that temperature is going to cook your chicken all the way through, but it's not going to overcook the outside, okay? And also, that's the reason why I cut the chicken in half, because the smaller the piece, the more evenly it's gonna cook. If you throw the whole chicken breast in there, it's gonna take a long time, and by the time the inside's cooked, the outside's overcooked. So this is a lot faster. And the tender will only take 3 to 5 minutes to cook, so we want to pull that out first. And then the rest of the pieces will take, in my experience, 7 to 10 minutes. So a meat thermometer is definitely handy to have. All right, so these are done. And if you're using a thermometer, you want it to be at 165 degrees Fahrenheit. And I'm gonna let these cool for now so I can pull them without burning my hands. Now that we have our gai, I am going to cheek my gai simply by pulling it. Yay! And because you have cut the chicken in half, then the pieces are like nice bite-sized length, and you just get your kids involved and tear out the little pieces. All right, so now that you've got your gai cheek, I'm gonna just season this a little bit with fish sauce because right now there isn't a whole lot of flavor going on, but you just need a splash. And this is way more than you'll need for the noodle soup, but they're really handy to throw into pasta sauces, into soup, into fried rice. Like, you'll just realize how useful having just bits of cooked chicken is in the fridge. Now, in addition to the fish sauce, I'm also going to add some garlic oil. Now, garlic oil is something you're going to need for the noodle soup anyway. I'm just putting some over the chicken because in addition to flavor, it prevents it from drying out. Because now you've got really thin pieces of lean chicken, and if you let this sit while you're doing other things, it can easily dry out. And adding garlic flavor to chicken, I mean, come on. What can go wrong, right? That's ready to go on your soup. So let's take a look at the other ingredients for this. Now, noodle soups, the only hard part about noodle soups, if there is a hard part, is getting all the ingredients ready, okay? So let's talk noodles first. So the noodles I'm using for this is rice noodles, the small size, the same kind you find in Vietnamese pho. Now this comes dry, like this. Okay, this is the one I use. It doesn't have to be this brand. And all I did was I soaked it in room temperature water for about 15 minutes or however long it takes for it to become pliable like this. If your water is really cold, it will take a little longer, but you don't want to let it go, for hours because it can be over soaked and then your noodles will overcook really quickly. So once it's pliable, you can remove it from the water. Yes, of course, you could use any other kinds of noodles that you wish. I also have some chicken balls. So we have some chicken breasts, but now we need some chicken balls. I buy them just like this, so I didn't make them. And it's so commonly added to Thai noodle soups. If you're using a pork-based soup, then they'll use pork balls. If you're eating fish noodle soup, they'll add fish balls. And you can easily find this at Asian grocery stores. Some bean sprouts. Bean sprouts just add a little crunch. If you don't like it, you can opt to not put it in. I've got spinach. Any baby greens, like baby bok choy would be good. Any sort of greens that you would like in your soup, as long as the flavor is quite mild. I just like to use spinach because it's easy to find. Cilantro and green onions, these are optional. And this guy over here, this is something that we add in many types of noodle soups. This is called tang chai. So they're little bits of cabbage that's been preserved in salt. And so they become sort of little salty, crunchy, chewy bits in your noodle. So think like bacon bits, but cabbage. Okay, and then in terms of condiment, I've got the garlic oil and the fried garlic. I chopped some garlic, I fried it in the oil, I separate them, okay? It's gonna add nice garlicky flavor to your noodle soup. I've got some chili flakes and some chili vinegar. And chili vinegar, super easy. Chili, vinegar, garlic in the blender. And all the details of how to make all of this I will include in the written recipe. So I am ready to go. I've got my broth, my noodle broth simmering in the back, and I've also added the chicken balls in there so they can heat up with the broth. I've got my pot of boiling water here, which I'm going to use to blanch my noodles and my vegetables. And yes, you can put everything all at the same time. If you don't have something like this, you've also seen me use that like Chinese style noodle strainer, or maybe Thai style, I don't know what style it is, but like a more cup-shaped noodle strainer. Whatever you have, that'll work, okay? Going in, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's it. It's up now. And remember the broth is going to be hot, boiling hot. When you pour it over, it's going to continue to cook the noodles a little bit more. Whee! Hot. Okay, I'm going to switch pots real quick. I'm also going to add the chicken balls in at the same time. Ooh. There you go. Especially if you're making like lots of different bowls and you're not ready to eat right now, it's even more important that you don't overcook the noodles because that's gonna sit for a little bit, right? Okay, so now all the condiments go in. Oh, and before I eat, if you think this is a little plain Jane for you, check out the written recipe. I show you how you can quickly and easily turn this into a tom yum style ก๋วยเตี๋ยวไก่ฉีก. Spicy, sour, really good. Ooh, give it a good toss. Oh, that smell. Oh, there's nothing like it. Oh, that is so good. Flashback of home. That broth, it's such a perfect balance of flavor. That stock, if you spend a good amount of effort on making a good stock, you're halfway there. I mean, everything else is just little ingredients here and there, but if you pay attention to your stock, it makes all the difference. It's one of those Thai dishes that's not like strong, spicy, tart, sour, like some Thai dishes can be, but it's the epitome of comfort food. I really encourage you to give this noodle soup a try. I mean, it is chicken noodle soup like no other chicken noodle soup. And yes, it's a lot of little ingredients that you have to put together, but there are a lot of things that you can make in advance. There's a lot of things that will last a long time, and when you put it together, it'll be all worth it. So the recipe will be on hotthaikitchen.com as per usual. And if you haven't subscribed to the show, please do so right here. And send me photos of your noodle soups on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. And I will see you next time. สวัสดีค่ะ That broth is a little salty, a little sweet with that little chili vinegar and the chicken flavor. It's so chickeny.